Dear students, welcome to another lecture in industrial engineering. We were discussing about the role of ergonomics in design of environment and safety. So, in the last lecture, we have seen um, the role of the illumination, that is lighting, and the sound. Now, the third one is vibrations. Now, in the working environment, usually vibrations uh, of the air are detected as sound, but air vibrations below 20 hertz are not heard. You see, our human ear can detect sounds of 20 hertz and above. Some of the animals can detect lesser than 20 hertz, but our human ear can detect above 20 hertz only. Okay, but they cannot, we cannot hear with the ear, but they can be felt with the body. Okay, vibrations can affect the performance of the work of the work of the operator, or the work of the worker. Ideally, vibrations should be minimized at source. Now, some recommendations to reduce the vibrations. This can be achieved by reducing the forces transmitted. If it is possible to reduce the forces, we should reduce it. But if it is not possible, we should try to, try some other means, like converting vibration energy into thermal energy, if possible, or by using mechanical or hydraulic dampers. How we should see, is there any way by which we can dampen these vibrations. Okay, and by changing the body position and body support of the machines, we can reduce the vibrations. Okay, next is temperature. In order to perform the work efficiently, the worker should feel, he should not he should not feel very hot or very cold, but he should feel comfortable. Okay, see, the comfort range is 18 degrees centigrade to 23 degrees centigrade. Within this range, for most of the manufacturing operations in the shop floor, he will be able to do well. Okay, when heavy work is to be done, because if he is doing heavy work, the body also heat will be generated, so the temperature should be lowered. And when the office work is to be done, it can be a little higher. Okay, then radiant temperature. No, radiant temperature comfort level lies between 16 degrees centigrade to 20 degrees centigrade. See, this is an important safety measure also. It's safe from the safety point of view, to protect the workers from the radiant heat when high temperature processes are carried out. See, when you are working in rolling mills, or when you are working with the forging, in forges, there, the furnaces will be there, even heat treatment and other places. Oh my, the temperatures will be so much, you see, the radiant heat, it will be affecting the health of the workers. So, the effect of heat can be minimized by the following things. Okay, one is shielding. If we can anyway shield that direct radiant, that heat coming coming to the worker, we should be able to shield it. Or if we can isolate the heat source, and reduce the direct transmission by radiation, you see, we should be able to isolate it. That means, we should not be, the heat sources should be away away, or it should be isolated, isolated by some, by building some wall or something like that, if you can. But the thing is, in that place only, if he has to go and work, we cannot avoid. Okay. Installation and provision of adequate local ventilation to get rid of smokes and fumes can be done. You see, ventilation. You see, if there is breeze coming from the windows or from the ventilators, at least it will improve the situation there. And permit rest pauses in extreme hot conditions. You can permit pauses also. That means you can give him a little rest for some time. To all the workers you can give. Okay, that is about the temperature. Now let us talk about the humidity and the air velocity in the place of work. Okay, humidity has little effect at ordinary temperature. If it's an ordinary temperature, it is okay. You see, we are not so bothered about the humidity. But low humidity can cause discomfort through drying of the nose, throat, if it is low humidity. But if it is high humidity also, the sweat won't dry. Air humidity and air velocity become important at high temperatures because they influence the amount of sweat, and the sweat should have been evaporated from the body surface and produce cooling effect. But if the sweat is not evaporating, you see, you won't feel cool. You'll be like see, some kind of discomfort, and you will not be comfortable in such situations. Okay, if the humidity, so that's why see, you have to maintain the humidity. You see, one of the ways of providing the air, the relative humidity should be within the limit, is by providing centralized air conditioning systems for the plants. Okay, then ventilation means it is the process of replacing the stale air, the air that is it is not fresh and it is giving unpleasant smells. Such air should be removed. You see, even in the houses also, if you see, if all the doors and windows are shut, we feel some kind of discomfort. We don't feel comfortable with that thing. So therefore we go and we open the windows, we allow the air to come through the doors and windows, or if any exhaust fans. Nowadays we don't have exhaust fans in the houses, but in the companies we have exhaust fans also. Okay, but fresh air should be allowed to come in. Okay, so that the presence of bad odor, the smell, the carbon monoxide concentration, and the humidity and temperature, all these things can be can be within maintained within certain acceptable levels. Okay, good ventilation system provides fresh air. You see, most common methods are windows and ventilators provide natural ventilation. Exhaust fans extract and exhale the stale air to atmosphere. When exhaust fans are removing the air from within, a kind of low pressure area is created, and thereby fresh air comes in. Okay, from the ventilators, if it is from the ventilators through the exhaust fans it is going, then through the doors and windows it will come in. Normally the hot air will be rising up. Okay, and the cold air will be down. Okay, that way. And nowadays this you may have seen some this on the top of the factories, some rotating turbo ventilators are also nowadays being installed. Okay, that also for ventilation purpose. Okay, now the working conditions, the ideal working conditions are given here. The temperature range 18 degrees centigrade to 23 degrees centigrade. This is an ideal temperature to work. The humidity should be relative humidity should be 30% to 70%. The illumination level see, better than 200 lux, that is the light intensity on floor per meter square. The ventilation rate of air is 6.6 meter cubes per hour. You see, you may be wondering what are all these figures, what are these units and all. If you see, if you when you need to work in such kind of area, if you go a little more in-depth study, if you do know, you will be able to understand. You see, now we are studying superficially. We are not going in depth because then we will not be able to cover all the topics that are allotted in our syllabus. Okay, so on the surface we are going. Okay, so the ventilation rate of air is 6.6 meter cubes per hour at sea level per person doing light work. And then a noise level should not be more than 10 decibels. That's what they are saying. So these are the ideal working conditions. That means the working conditions which the worker or the operator of the machine, he will feel comfortable. Okay, next, an example illustrating the role of ergonomic considerations while designing a lathe machine. Suppose you are asked to design a lathe machine. Okay, they say lathe machine has been it is designed for some centuries ago, some 200-300 years back. No, lathe machine is see, it is the first machine. That's why they call it first. This is the first machine tool, and that's why it is called as mother of machines. Okay, anyway, suppose you are asked to design a lathe machine. So what will you consider? So while designing a lathe machine, a designer must consider the following criteria so that the lathe machine operator can operate and control the machine effectively, comfortably, and without any fatigue leading to without any fatigue. Otherwise what will happen? Poor work and more scrap and wastages will result. Okay, what are the things? The first one is controls on lathe should be easily accessible and properly positioned. That means it should not be there should not be a need for him to stretch and or difficult to operate, and it should be conveniently positioned, and logically he should be logically his hand should be immediately able to go to that place, like that logically should be arranged the location of the controls. The control operation should involve the minimum of motions. Not lot of motions should be involved. Then the height of the lathe machine. Here is one thing, should it be 5th percentile, 95th percentile? We were studying some 1 or 2 days back. Okay, see here it is the height of the lathe machine is designed for an average height of workers. Some people will be tall, some people will be shorter, but we cannot be we cannot make the height an adjustable thing, therefore here what we will consider is for the average height of workers, so that it will be easily operated. Okay, lathe machine should make less noise during operation. Less noise during operation means good bearing materials should be used, and lubrication and other things also should be properly used. Okay, then the effort and power required in turning any hand wheel as per the operation should be less. Is it hand wheels and other things? The operation is initially when the machine is new, it normally doesn't create much problem. Afterwards a little bit of wear and tear will cause the machine or the hand wheel turning may become difficult. For that, at that time oil and grease and other such lubricating things you should provide. The ergonomics should give desired accuracy in the operation. So these are some of the things when you should keep in mind while designing the about. You see, now we have the thing that we were seeing where we started was here the role of ergonomics in design of environment and safety. All these factors we have seen. What did we see? We saw is a from here lighting and illumination first, noise second, then vibrations third, temperatures fourth, then humidity and air velocity fifth, and then sixth is ventilation. Okay, these are the different things we have considered. And now let us see about the fatigue, ergonomics and fatigue. When fatigue comes, how ergonomics, from the point of view of ergonomics, how we should look at fatigue. Now, what is fatigue? Fatigue, actually we studied about fatigue in machine design also. At that time we were we were talking about the metal fatigue. Now here we are studying about a fatigue that is for the human being, so it is a human fatigue. Okay, fatigue is the state of worker by which the capacity and willingness of doing the work is reduced. It is a negative drive. No, fatigue is not a positive thing. You cannot say, oh, I'm happy because I have fatigue. We cannot say. It is something undesirable, a negative drive. And it corresponds to a state where we desire to, where we have a need for rest. Fatigue leads to deterioration in mental and physical health of the workers, and ultimately reduction in the efficiency of the worker. See what our concentration is to so that the worker works efficiently, and thereby the productivity of the plant increases. Okay, if efficiency is reducing, then no, it's not a desirable thing. Now, symptoms of fatigue. See, when do you say, you are fatigued? Okay, since fatigue is a physical condition, it is something connected with mind also, is something connected with the body also. That's why we are saying it is a psychophysical condition. Its symptoms are both mental as well as physical. It can be it can be recognized and diagnosed by the following factors. Feeling of tiredness, this thing we need not tell you, but everybody we feel tired at times. You see, this is that state of tiredness, or a state when we feel exhausted completely, and we don't have any more willingness to work. Okay, see, such kind of feeling if we have now, this is the feeling of tiredness. By looking at the people itself, we can say, oh, today you feel tired. Okay, so then another symptom of fatigue is fall in production. You see, there is a reduction in quantity of the work done for a given amount of time. Every day this man is able to produce 10 things per day, per hour, and this today he has produced only 8. The sum two numbers is reduced. Thereby you will be able to say, oh, today he appears, fatigued. He appears tired. So therefore, that fall in production is there. Then physiological change. You see, in the state of fatigue, there is an accumulation of lactic acid in the blood. When you are fatigued, you see, this is the chemistry of the body. A lactic acid is accumulated in the blood, it seems. Okay, and this in the blood caused by the fall in the quantity of glycogen or sugar. Why this lactic acid is accumulated in the blood? Because the quantity of sugar in the body is reduced. Okay, this lowers the flow of blood and oxygen throughout the body, and this leads to adverse effects on the main parts of the body. So see, actually from the outside we cannot understand, but some chemistry is involved here. So because of which, you see, when we are tired, some changes takes place in our body, and thereby we we don't have the inkling to work. Okay, muscular condition. The muscles lose their power to contract and expand. You see, this is another thing because of these chemical reactions that are taking place in the body. Because of the fatigue, the muscle loses its power. Okay, then change in mental condition. The operator or worker experiences loss of interest and he loses interest, he loses the willingness to do any further work, and he doesn't pay attention. See, the mental condition is affected because of the fatigue. Then increase in number of accidents. So naturally, if a person is tired, there is always a danger of accidents happening. Okay, and another symptom of fatigue means that the great desire in the for that worker. No, now I should at least sit somewhere. I should lie down somewhere for some time, or at least I should take 5 minutes break or 15 minutes break, or I should just walk in the fresh air or something, or I should take some tea or something, some kind of rest he may want to take. Then now types of fatigue. When you're talking about types of fatigue, there are two types of fatigue. One is physical fatigue, uh, and the other one is mental fatigue. One is kind of concerned with the body, the muscles, and the other one is connected with the mind, that is the psychological fatigue. Okay, so the physical fatigue, when we are talking about the physical fatigue or the muscular fatigue, this is it is a decreased capacity of the muscle which follows a continued and repeated contraction of the muscles. See, that is because of some chemical reactions that are taking place in the body. Fatigue may result from deficiency of oxygen. If oxygen is less, fatigue. If oxygen is less, we feel tired. You see, that's why we people go for morning walk. Why? There is in the morning, there is plenty of oxygen, or rather ozone is present. Okay, that will make you energetic. Okay, that's why early in the morning people go for walking. And that if you go in the afternoon or evening, evening also it's okay, but in the afternoon it doesn't give that much effect for the human beings. So the deficiency, that means a lack of oxygen or accumulation of carbon dioxide in the body. And the symptoms of physical fatigue are feeling of tiredness, loss of physical efficiency and capacity to do the work, and desire to rest. This is because of the physical fatigue. Now, if we are talking about the second type of fatigue, that is the mental fatigue or the psychological fatigue. See, this one is described as the desire to have a change due to repetitive work. If a person is asked to work on the same machine for 8 hours and every day, 7 days a week, or he may have one day off, but in some of the companies, because some deadlines are there, they may not even give the off. Okay, see, thereby the repetitive work, he gets bored. It is a monotonous work. You see, it is a state of mind or the mental condition which is caused by the constant repetitive type of work. Same thing you have to do again and again. Okay, you get up in the morning. What to do? I have to go and work, stand in front of that machine and do the same work again for 8 hours. That doesn't motivate that person much. Okay, he gets the same work. This becomes a monotonous work. The repetitive work destroys human values like pride in workmanship. He will not be glorying so much. He will not be boasting about his work. Oh, I like my work. I like doing this work. He will not say, oh, what is this? Oh, I am caught up in such kind of monotonous work. They may say, they lack individuality. Okay, then the boredom. Boredom is a mental fatigue due to routine tasks. It is a mental condition caused due to negative attitude and lack of interest in the job. The workers do not like to do that work. At that time, they get bored. Now, when you are talking about mental fatigue, we are talking about two things. One is monotony. The second is boredom. Okay. See, monotony is the repetitive work. Again and again doing the same thing. The second one is it is also a routine task, and he is not interested to do the work. he has a negative attitude because of which he is not interested to do that work, then he gets bored. Okay, both monotony and boredom, they are caused by mental condition. Now, the causes of monotony or boredom, what are the causes? Here some causes are given. The individuality of the worker is lost. The attitude towards the work is not so, he has some kind of negative attitude. He doesn't like doing that work. He wants to avoid that work. The lack of challenges, he doesn't have any opportunity to do something new and get appreciation from the higher ups or his colleagues or his subordinates. If something, if you do, and if people appreciate you, they clap for you or they will cheer you, then you will feel elated. That's why people like doing challenging works. Then lack of interest and concentration. Lack of interest and if lack of concentration, these are all causes of monotony and boredom. And emotional condition of a person, lack of pride in the work. If he's not taking pride in his work, or if he's not taking pride in the company for he's working, or if he's not taking pride in the supervisor who is above him, and poor working conditions, these all may be the causes of this monotony and boredom. And then the effects of fatigue. Now, what happens if a person is fatigued? It can be a physical fatigue or mental fatigue. It badly affects the muscles, nerves, and mind of the worker. Okay, so what? You may say, as I'm a manager, if it is affected, the worker is affected. Well, so what? It matters because it decreases the worker's capacity to do work, to do more work or further work. Even the appointed allocated work, he may not be able to do. Then the fatigue results in loss of workers' efficiency, and it introduces a feeling of tiredness and weakness. It creates disinterest in the work, and it disturbs the chemical, psychological, physiological equilibrium of the worker. Fatigue not only affects the production, but it also affects the psychological state of mind, temperament, and personal life of the operator, of the worker. Not only his, people who are beside him also sometimes, they get affected, you see, because of one person's monotony. He will not go, if he wants to sit idle and talk, he will not do it alone. He will pull some one or two more people, and chat, and thereby the production suffers. Okay, it gives rise to monotony and boredom, increases the tendency towards making accidents. Accidents also are an effect of the fatigue that is coming in for the operators or the workers, and increases absenteeism. He doesn't want to go to the office. The industry, he absents himself, and also labor turnover. He may not even go for the job. Just leave the job, resign, and sit in the house, or choose some other job. This labor turnover also will be an effect of the fatigue. Now let us see how to reduce the fatigue, causes and reduction of fatigue. See, the purpose of fatigue study, why are we studying this, is to reduce the influence in decreasing the production and unpleasant feeling. We want to reduce the fatigue that is coming upon the workers or the operators. Okay, all types of work involves fatigue. If you do any work, you'll get this fatigue. Okay, but but we are trying to reduce it. But you cannot reduce it completely. 100% you cannot reduce. But some efforts can be taken to reduce the fatigue or to keep it to a minimum. You see, one is, long working hours, long hours of work should be removed. This is one of the causes of fatigue. Long work hours is a cause, and now for that, what you have to do, you have to reduce. See, it has been established that average hourly output varies with the length of working day. Suppose if you are asked to work for 10 hours, 9 hours, 8 hours, long hours of work, this increases the fatigue of the worker. If the length of the working hours is reduced to a certain extent, if you are reducing, then the average hourly output increases. That means what? Fatigue is reduced when the working hours are reduced. Suppose instead of 8 hours you are asking him to work for 7 hours. Oh, he will instead of 10 pieces producing per hour, he may even produce 12 per hour. Because he will feel happy about it, that he is working 1 hour less, and see that it is a state of mind. They say all is in the head, all is in the head. So, some people say it is all is in the head. Once you determine, the worker decides, oh, today I will do well, he will do well. Sometimes so many times see this boredom and everything, they will go away. See, mentally a person should be strong. But anyway, now we are not talking about ourselves. We are talking about the workers, operators. We as a manager or an engineer or a process engineer, we should think about those things. Experiments have shown that hourly output reaches a maximum value at about 7 hours a day. 7 hours per day if he is doing, see, the output reaches maximum, it seems. And or for 40 hours per week. However, there may be a little variation depending upon the type of work. It may differ from different types of work. But they have seen that 7 hours per day if he's working, he is giving a good, good efficient work he is able to do. Okay, now. Then the absence of rest pauses. Now this is another cause for the fatigue. Rest pauses are not there. That means in the middle now they are not giving any breaks for him. Fatigue is caused due to working for long time continuously without taking rest. See, even when you students also, when you're studying, you should not sit continuously for much time. You should take small breaks in the middle. Thereby it will break your monotony, and it will remove your fatigue. Okay, however, providing properly timed periods of rest helps to reduce the fatigue. While setting up the duration of the number of pauses, suppose if you are giving intervals in the middle, it should be considered that most favorable rest pause is that which will conserve all the benefits of incitement or warming and reduce fatigue as much as possible. You may say, oh, if you are giving that pause or the interval, you should you should have all these benefits of incitement, or warming, a little bit of he should be able to visit the washroom. He should be able to sit and chat with others, shake hands with his colleagues and talk about something, and share a joke, and take tea, biscuits and other things. In most of the companies, to the shop floor, to the machines, they send tea and other things. Okay, then continuing work during fatigue is wasteful. Even if somebody is very tired, but you're asking him to work, it is a waste. Okay, in industries, rest period should be inserted when the work curve starts to show decrement. Now if you plot a chart of his efficiency, when the curve is is falling, then there you have to insert rest period to maintain the optimal output. and avoid fatigue, you have to insert that rest period. Too long time pauses are disadvantages. You should not provide long pauses like 1 hour you are giving or half an hour you are giving. Just 10 minutes or 15 minutes, that's sufficient, because loss of warming will occur when worker remains away from work for a long time. Long pauses should not be given. Research in this regard shows that 5 minutes rest pause for every 80 minutes work is the most desirable. Just 5 minutes or 10 minutes you can give, 5 or 10 minutes for a 1.5 hours or 2 hours. Every 2 hours, I went for industrial training in Mahindra tractor division there in Nagpur. So there every 2 hours, there's tea used to come. Okay, like that. Okay, these are all means by which you are trying to break the monotony, or you are trying to reduce the fatigue of the workers. Then another cause is improper working conditions. Working conditions are not good. Thereby the efficiency of the worker is affected. And the productivity decreases. This is affected by the temperature, humidity, air circulation, ventilation. These are the things not properly controlled. Thereby the too hot and too cold temperature, the humidity affects the health and also the comfort of the worker, and thereby his efficiency drastically reduces. Okay, similarly, if the worker does not get clean air during the working, he soon gets tired. Oxygen supply should be plenty, thereby one will be energized. Okay, in order to reduce fatigue, it is necessary to maintain the correct room temperature and the correct relative humidity in the workplace. Fatigue can also be reduced by improving the ventilation and improving the ventilation, so that this polluted air is eliminated and fresh air is admitted into the factory. Okay, now improper working method. See, if the working method is improper and the worker always thinks, hey, we are not doing properly. You see, or these machines are not arranged properly, or this machine is not designed properly. This tool is not proper. This tool is not designed properly. If he feels like that, that also causes a kind of fatigue. Okay, inefficient working methods, bad arrangement of machines, or the poor plant layout. And tools, these are responsible for wastage of the effort of the worker, and it increases the fatigue of the worker. Okay, so bad designs of the machines, bad arrangements of the machines will involve unnecessary movements of the body parts of the operator, causing fatigue. So to reduce reduce fatigue because of this, what we should do is we should select the best method on the basis of method study. We have learned method study. Through method study, best method, unnecessary movements and other things can be eliminated, and then use properly designed machines. When we are talking about ergonomics also, this body, this man and a machine system as together, as one system, you should look and design so that this man and machine, they work in tandem, and arrange the machines and tools systematically. The arrangement of the plant layout also should be done properly. Thereby, the fatigue that is being caused because of the improper working method or the bad arrangement of the machines can be reduced. Then improper illumination. Improper illumination or the inadequate illumination, this causes strain for the eyes of the worker, and it results in fatigue. Okay, for this it is necessary light should come from the proper direction, it should be of proper intensity, and a thought should be given to the design of the proper workplace with proper illumination. Then excessive noise. Excessive noise in the workplace also adversely affects the output and increases the unnecessary fatigue. Okay, As far as possible, noise and vibration should be minimized. And then unhealthy working conditions. This is another cause for the fatigue. Fatigue is intimately connected with health. If the occupational conditions are such, they do not promote good health, and they are also conducive to fatigue. You see, the conditions, working conditions should be such, no, it is, a healthy environment it should be. Okay, otherwise, no, then this monotony comes, this fatigue comes. As far as possible, healthy working conditions should be maintained in the workplace to avoid. So, as far as possible, healthy working conditions should be maintained in the workplace to avoid the fatigue. Okay, then next cause for the fatigue is absence of adequate seats. You see, even in the workplace, he may be working on a machine, he is expected to stand for 8 hours, but he should be provided a seat also to sit. That is for the people who are working on the machines, but some of the people, they may be always sitting and working. So for them also, you see, proper sitting, if it is not provided, uncomfortable chairs if you are providing, it is not ergonomically designed, and the seat itself is making him tired. Okay, then no, then again his efficiency will reduce. Okay, the seat should provide normal comfort to the worker, so that the fatigue will be avoided. Okay, alternate seating and standing arrangements also sometimes will be helpful to reduce the fatigue. Then low morale. Conditions which are conducive to low morale are also conducive to fatigue. If his morale is low, then it causes him to be easily get fatigued. Okay, he easily get tired. The high morale can help reduce the fatigue, and the management should take proper care to maintain high morale among their workers. There are various ways, by which the morale of the workers can be can maintained high. That that is a point of study of management. Okay. And then employer and employee relationships. If he is not having good relations with the employer, or even with his managers, with his superiors, or his immediate boss, the supervisor, then the worker cannot maintain maintain high morale in such conditions. Okay, then fatigue creeps in. So the worker's enthusiasm can be easily maintained and fatigue kept low if good relationship and a sense of cooperation exists between the employer and employee, and between the employees themselves. Okay, so these are the different causes, and also um, the causes and also the ways by which fatigue can be reduced. Okay, what did we study about in this? Long hours of work, absence of rest pauses, improper working conditions, improper arrangement of machines, improper illumination, excessive noise, unhealthy working conditions, absence of adequate seats, and low morale of the worker, and employer relationship. These are 10 causes for the fatigue. Okay, this also we have studied in ergonomics. You see, because if you consider all these things, all these aspects, then you will be able to properly pay attention to and design systems well. Okay, so I think we'll stop here today. Yeah. So with this we have finished the third chapter also. Okay. And now I think the industrial engineering part of our syllabus is finished. From the next lecture onwards, we will go to the quality control part of the syllabus. Okay then. Thank you, friends.